What is up, everyone? This is Press X to Start Podcast Season 6, Episode 1. Press X to Start Podcast is an audio and video podcast seeking to transform the video game media landscape through an underserved and protected point of view. I am your host, DJ, aka The Last Raven, aka Sexy Bad Choices. Oh, y'all gonna figure out what The Last Raven is very soon. Well, probably in about a couple years, but whatever. Who else is here?
How you gonna say pretty soon and then a couple years? Anyway,
Because
I'm your heavyweight champion from Witch Nigga, California, aka the janitor because we watch niggas, aka the Kraken's black color. The Kraken's black cousin, the Crack-a-lackin'. There we go.
I got real racist and he pulled it back.
It's your boy Jordan, aka JXBot, aka the Last Spectre. Sure,
Okay, all right. We're all the last of something. And Avery?
The Last of Us.
Yes, I'm Avery. Yes.
You almost forgot it, but you pulled it in at the very end. I like it. All right. That is who we are. And before we get into the highlights of this episode, I just like to make one thing clear. This is the Gundam crew. Now you might be wondering.
Goodbye.
Wait. We all like Gundam in some way, shape, or form, and it just dawned on me. I was like,
I'm more of a person.
Avery left as Marcus returned, so we'll wait for everyone to return so I can explain why this is so important. It just dawned on me as I was brushing my teeth that we all love Gundam in some way, shape, or form. So, it's pretty cool. Gundam Seed, G Gundam.
I don't
Blood
love Gundam
Orphan?
Seed.
No, not you. Jordan loves Gundam Seed.
No,
Is it
double
Seed?
O.
Is it?
Double O.
Double O, there we go. And then Marcus loves G Gundam. Right, Marcus?
Goddamn right, I
Marcus?
love G Gundam.
Yeah.
I also,
And you, Avery, you love Blood Orphan, right?
the little chibi Gundam.
Well, okay.
aka Best Gundam.
Clarification. I love Wing, Blood Orphans, and G Gundam. Those are the only three Gundams I want to have a conversation about.
Hey, that's okay. And I love everything else. So that
No, you
we're all
don't.
good.
We
got
had
it.
a specific conversation where you told me that Blood Orphans sucked. So
It's fine. I just don't like Turn a Gun. That's it. Anyways, now we can get to talking about what we've been talking about, which is
I'm cutting this out of the audio, by the way.
100%. I will pay you extra money to do it.
I'll post this as a separate video. All right. Let's talk about the highlights for this episode, other than Gundam. Troy Baker is working with NFTs and no one's excited. I wonder why. Take-Two spends billions in a new relationship, and I hate it. And From Software returns to its core. Wink.
Oh.
Housekeeping. Go watch our content. We put out our fantasy league draft, and it's pretty awesome, and it's pretty fun, and it's a good time, and you should.
Yeah,
have
it's a
good
fun
time with
episode.
us. It is.
This man called Armored Core From Software's core when it's clearly Kingsfield.
Kingsfield. No, you're right. All right. With that being said, let us jump into what we have actually. Wait. Boom. Let us talk about what we have been playing. First off, we got Deep Rock Galactic. That was played by mostly Avery, and I also joined in a few times. So, Avery, what was your impression of that game?
Doug played with y'all too, right?
Yeah, with me, Doug, Sean, and then DJ ghosted us for about 3 nights and then showed up on the 3rd night.
I have a child. I also
So
played
does Sean.
Oh, it's Sean. But here's the thing. We would see you online playing other games after you told us, hey, well, are you playing Deep Rock Galactic with us? Yeah, I'm playing. And then like an hour later, DJ's online playing something else. I'm like, I guess he's coming. And then he leaves offline. And then we get like a message like at like 12. Yeah, I can't play it, guys. And I'm like, all right, then, I guess.
So okay, so let me explain myself real quick. The problem is we put London to bed around like 7:38, and I might jump on before that, but it's really kind of off and on thing because she's awake and she's doing stuff. So I can't really do an online thing until she's down, which is like 9:30 or so. So after 9:30, I'm free to go. But I think I looked and I didn't see anyone on or something like that. And
You
then the
saw
one
what you
time,
wanted to see.
Big cap, giant cap, huge cap.
That's
Bigger than the cap that he's wearing.
we have Discord receipts of asking DJ, are you getting on?
I got on eventually.
Yeah.
And the one time that I played with everyone, I had a great time.
Deep Rock Galactic is super fun. It's like
Mhm.
in terms of like a but I'm gonna couch that it's super fun as a multiplayer experience. It
Absolutely.
is a sort of it's one of those PC survival games. This time you're playing dwarves mining for space minerals in a vaguely sinister capitalistic military semi-military company. You pick one of 4 classes: a miner, engineer, soldier, or a scout, and you explore various rock-based environments, collecting materials and that's where my enjoyment of the game disappears. I think the actual playing with 4 people as your friends is super fun. And like they've done, like this is a game that was in early access for like 2.5 years. So like we're getting
wow.
the feature complete version of this game now, released on consoles. And as a feature complete game, it's super fun. It's a super fun multiplayer experience. But I think I always judge every multiplayer experience I play as what it's a single player. Like how if it can be played as a singular person, how is it as a singular person? And as a singular
Yeah.
game, it's kind of not fun, kind of boring, and not very well thought out in regards to its individual systems. Like this is a game, and I'll end the conversation here. This is a game that if Douglas sounds the klaxons and calls for people to play Deep Rock, I will be in there like swimwear because I have fun playing that game. I play the engineer. I make fucking platforms, and it allows me to I can scream rock and stone and get a rock and stone from all my friends. It's great, but like I have no interest in playing this with random people or like solo to grind for experience because this once again it's a multiplayer game, so it has a very grindy upgrade path that I just don't find fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything Avery just said. My time playing it, I definitely spotted, oh, this is a great multiplayer game, but I couldn't imagine playing this in single player. Even when I played the tutorial before you can actually jump into multiplayer stuff, it was fine at best, but it was very slow and methodical because you are having to look for stuff. You're mining, you're making sure you know where you're going, you're pulling up your map, and like that really like that appeals to a certain kind of player. And I
Douglas.
definitely, yeah, exactly, and like this is a game that definitely flourishes when you are playing with people
Well, you're playing with a
and
4-man squad who each are playing
yeah.
an individual class. That's one of the issues I have with the game is that like they've built one. There are only 4 classes, which I think kind of sucks because I think this is like we're not going to get any more other classes. It's just these 4 going forward, and then 2, everyone's so specialized that when you don't have one with you, it kind of
You feel
ruins
it
the experience. Like we put Sean on Digger and like on the minor class, and like
on
if
Digger, you
we
say.
yes, and if we don't have him, like it's just not fun to play.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's
well,
just
yeah,
us smacking ourselves against stone wall to make paths really slowly while he can do it instantly. And
Right.
then Douglas, who plays Scout, can get up to all these high areas, but unless there's a platform on him, he can't really do much up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then me, like my guns, at least early on, suck. Like I have a shotgun and a grenade launcher, and there is fucking the friendly fire. So if like I use my grenade launcher, I'm gonna hit my teammate.
Right.
Oof.
And then my shotgun means that like if I get into a firefight, I have to be 5 feet in front of an enemy to be any use.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Deep Rock. Persona 5 Strikers. That was Marcus and Avery. Is that multiplayer? Did y'all play together or was it a single player
No,
game?
Nope.
it's the
It's
single
single player. Yeah.
How was that?
I mean, I don't know how much Avery played of it. I only played maybe the opening section of it. So, I mean, it's more Persona 5, which is not a bad thing, but it's also not. I'll probably play through it just because I love Persona 5, especially Persona 5 Royal, but
Mm.
it's also something where it's like, if this wasn't a Persona game, I wouldn't play it because I do not like the style of combat really. Like
He doesn't like
I've
Musos.
I used to kind of like Musos when I was in high school, but I grew out of that a while ago. So, you know,
Me
it's really just more so getting a chance to hang out with the Persona crew again,
Yeah.
before they
So-
inevitably go to Persona 6.
I was going to play this game ages ago. I didn't have time, and then like it showed up on PS Plus, so I decided, fuck it. I have literally all the time in the world in this off season that we had, so I decided to start playing it. And I forgot why I wanted to play this game in the first place, because it's just Persona 5 2. It is a
Mhm.
full-on sequel to Persona. It's got fucking the exact same environments, UI, everything screams Persona except for the gameplay, which is a action-oriented musou. And I played a lot of the branded musou games. Like I think Hyrule Warriors is one of the best musous ever made. And I think
Yeah.
one of the things they do really well with their branded stuff is integrate those systems into the core games. So this isn't just like a I'm Lu Bu running down at 100 enemies on a big wide open like random field. It's like, okay, I am Joker. I can pause, bring up my persona, and use a spell to trigger an all-out attack. Like all the shit that's in the game, it's there.
Mhm.
It's just in a
Musou
like
setting.
it's little setting. So my issue with the game, like I played up until halfway through the first palace of the game. So like I'm halfway through the Idol Singer's Palace. I stopped playing because like this is a Persona game. So like I need to get my affairs in order before I decide to put what I'm guessing is going to be 50 hours into this game based on the way that the game is built. But it's one of those things where like I don't like the corridor. I don't like that they brought in the dungeon design from Persona into this game, because what essentially it means is you're running down a bunch of long corridors until you get to a room where they're going to spawn like maybe 50 enemies, and you're going to have a 5-second fight, and you're going to do that over and over and over again. Like with the Zelda Musou, because it was battlefield, or like it was a battlefield, like you would run and there's always enemies on the screen.
Yeah.
There's always fights to take. Like there's never really downtime. And the Zelda exploration really works because it is a pseudo RPG with even levels and stuff. There's this weird slowdown to the experience
like-
that I kind of don't like.
Yeah, and like, to your point, the fact that it basically is Persona 5 2 just makes me more irritated that it isn't just Persona 5 2. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to keep so many of the trappings of Persona 5, then just make it a full-on sequel. Because this being a Musou game feels unnecessary. And then also, because it's Persona 5 2 sort of, none of the relationship stuff carries over, and I'm also just a little confused, especially after beating Persona 5 Royal. I'm a little confused as to why they're still active or how they're still active, but
I haven't beaten Royal yet. I think this is the sequel to Persona 1, Persona
Yeah,
5
yeah,
1,
yeah.
and not anything to do with Royal. Because when they get back together, the main character, the one of the characters from 5 isn't there. No, they don't talk about anything from Royal at all, and they just sort of carry
Yeah.
on from there, like from my, I guess, vanilla ending for Persona 5.
so it all just feels a little, why is this a thing? Except it's
Yeah.
Japanese, so, and they love spin-offs and they love
Well, Persona
Musos and
specifically,
stuff.
Persona specifically loves spin-offs.
Yeah.
So
So
it takes them so
yeah.
long to make games proper that they just farm it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, so I mean, frankly, it's inoffensive. I don't know how much.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna like be playing it like I played Persona 5 proper, but you know, it is what it is. You know.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. Jordan, you have been playing the Gunk and Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yes,
What's
the
your,
Gunk came
take?
out in December on Game Pass. It's basically an action
Fiona.
adventure game.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Fiona
she is
from
Shout out to
from
yeah.
Fifi.
Yes.
Mhm.
She is voice acting, and I can tell this is one of her first times doing it. This is not a dig at her, but
Okay.
you know, like it's a fairly charming story. It's not like high stakes. Basically, you're
Yeah.
this part of like this resource collection company trying to archive new avenues for investment for like large corporations. Like you're basically a contractor essentially, or her character is a contractor. You
Right.
explore this environment. It has like if you like cleaning simulation games. Essentially, this is like
Yeah.
cleaning and getting all this gunk out of it, and
Mhm.
there is a bit of a plot there, but not that much of a notable plot. It's like
Okay.
there was ancient civilization. You're figuring out what happened to them. Like there's no high stakes here. But one thing I do like, it is a fairly relaxing therapeutic game. Not challenging at all. Nice music in the background, and it's fairly short too. I think I'm
How long
about
was it?
through. Well, people are beating in about 6 hours. Like it's not that much of a long game,
Oh, okay.
and I think I'm at like hour 3 right now, so I should be done in the next few weeks, I guess, when I pick it up and play it whenever.
Yeah.
But that's the gunk. Also, I played Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Um, Cam had it as one of his games of the year, or I don't know if it was number 1 or 2, or it was up there for him.
It was somewhere, yeah.
Mhm.
And I have my history of Mass Effect is very long, because I had it back on the Xbox 360. Microsoft published Mass Effect 1,
Mhm.
and seeing the contrast in the like original one that I actually recently played last year. Like the
Oh, yeah, that's
original
right.
one,
Yeah.
like it's on backwards compatibility, all that. And this one, it's like night and day. Like the old, like that shit was janky. I was like, holy shit! I put 200 hours into this game when I was a kid. I played a tremendous amount of Mass Effect, and going through it again and seeing the um, change in that game in terms of its gameplay and structure, because you do have that voice, that the conversation within the Mass Effect community, like Mass Effect 2 is better, no, Mass Effect 1 is better, Mass Effect 3, and all of them have their merits, except for 3 is an uphill battle for 3.
Mhm.
But all of them have their merits, but I'm no longer in that position saying that 1 is best.
The best,
I'm
yeah.
like what Mass Effect Legendary, that one of them is best. That Mass Effect Legendary has given me appreciation for all of them because of how well it was done. But I tell you what, man, you can like blind me and deafen my ears and put a controller in my hand and say play Mass Effect 1. That's just fucking muscle memory in terms of
Oh,
like how I
really?
can just like rush through that game and know where all the shit is. Like it was like I was pretty methodical. But yeah, that's what I'm playing right now. You
Okay.
just mash
I
your
thought
occasion.
about getting Legendary Edition on Game Pass, but then I remembered how old Mass Effect 1 is, and then just like how
Did you
even
even
now
did you play Mass Effect 1?
I did. I borrowed
Rajesh-
our high school friend Rajesh's
Yeah,
Xbox
yeah,
and
okay,
played
yeah.
it.
We did the exact same thing then.
Yeah. But like I just realized I don't really have any interest in going back and playing all 3 of them now that we're this far into, like console generations. I almost just would rather play Mass Effect 4 at this point.
I hear you.
In 2025.
at this
Maybe.
rate, yeah.
Yeah.
But you do have an option to play it. See, you have it on Game Pass. I'm gonna pay the
That's
extra
true.
money for it.
Ooh, that's
That
true.
is true.
They promised me a Dragon Age 4 first, and I'm demanding that.
I also agree.
Yep.
Agree.
Yeah.
Um
All right. So before we get into the next game, we ask that you do us a solid. Can you please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell? If you do all 3 things, we would greatly appreciate it. And in this new year, what you got to lose, right? Other than the clicky muscle of your index finger, or maybe your middle finger if you're special. So yeah, do that, and we'll appreciate it. So thanks. Yeah. So DJ, as I record this thing, what have you been playing? Well, I'll tell you what I've been playing other than Deep Rock Galactic. I've been playing a lot of the games that you know me to play. Other than that, Genshin Impact just had their like they every once in a while they do like little events, and this recent event they dropped is like the Wind Trace event. That means nothing to anyone. What it really is prop hunt. And if you know prop hunt is essentially a game where you take a map, you make the map kind of small, there is one person who plays as the quote unquote hunter, and the 3 people play as I don't know, the huntees, essentially. In this game, they're called the rebels. And essentially, it's a hide and go seek game, right? But the twist in Prop Hunt is that the 3 huntees are able to pick items in their environment to mimic, right? So you can become a chair, you can become a rock, you become a barrel or whatever. In Genshin Impact, what they do is for each map, they assign only 3 objects that you can be, right? Um, I've seen Prop Hunt. Mainly, I've seen Prop Hunt from achievement hunters like Let's Plays, and it was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. And it was always a thing, which is like, man, that'd be kind of fun to do, but never really had like a group of people to do it. Hint, hint. We have a group now,
Fuck
but
you. I am for the most part down to do most things, but no one ever asks.
Well, in this new year, if we start getting the streaming stuff in order, we can definitely do stuff like that. But that's the future. But right now, yeah. So Genshin Impact just had this prop hunt game, and it was a lot of fun. It was a thing where I was kind of hesitant because just like I really just got to get my daily stuff done and like get the things I need to get so I can level up my characters. And I was like, you know what? I'll try this game. When I first tried, I was the rebel and I had to, disguise myself in the environment. And it was one of those things where at first I was just like, this is okay. And then as the time ticked down and the hunter was getting close, I was like, I can see the appeal of this. This is actually kind of fun. And the hunter like passed by where I was, turned around, passed by again. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is actually a lot of fun. And then I actually got a chance to be a hunter. And I was kind of hesitant to being hunter because it's always like when it comes to hide and seek games, sometimes the hunter part isn't necessarily as balanced as being the huntee. So I was kind of hesitant about like, is it going to be balanced? And it definitely was balanced. They definitely had skills that allow you to find the people quicker. Quicker. Quicker is a good way. But ahead of the time, if you're playing Genshin, if you see the Wind Trace event and you're kind of wondering if you should do it, definitely try it. You get primo gems from it, so no harm in trying it. All right, Marcus, what are the games that you have been playing?
So, last year, you may remember me after getting my my new Series S, I downloaded several games for Game Pass, and Backbone was one of those games. And I finished the game finally.
Ooh, what
and
did you think?
It's a game that I liked up until you get to the last section of the game.
Yeah,
and it flies directly off a cliff. And
you wanted to stay in that
it a story reason or is it
does not stay in it? Does not stay.
Is it a story reason or is it a gameplay reason that it flies?
It's
off
a story reason. The gameplay
Okay.
is very simple, so it's never nothing that they really do in that game is complex from a gameplay standpoint. But from a story standpoint, Jesus Christ, like it just it starts off as a very grounded noir story. And then in like the 4th chapter, it goes full on sci-fi, like full on.
That's what we're doing now?
It's so jarring.
That's what I said out loud. That's what we're doing now?
It's so jarring. And then, the ending is ass. And
very morbid.
The ending is so bad, in fact, that for a while, because they just did announce that they're making another Backbone game. So I guess it might be a sequel. But
the same character?
I don't know. I don't know. But the ending is so bad that for a while it got big backlash because people were like, wait, what? That's it? Like the ending is so, it just doesn't, it's not even like the type of ending that's kind of dark, but in a way that's like, yeah, this works within the story. It's like
that they presented
abrupt. And it's one of those endings for me where I thought it was like a fake out, kind of like in Control, where they roll credits and you're just like, wait, hold on, what? And then the game continues. That's what I was waiting for to happen.
Yeah, it's just credits.
And then no, it's just the game is over, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, that was a choice.
Because I mean, to the point, our Marcus, chapter 1 and 2 and 3, like it really had me, pulled. I was like, yo, where are these, where are these objections? Like, what's going on here? As they built up the lore, which was fascinating, but a lot of fucking cliffhangers, man. I was like, all right, well, I was not expecting a backbone too. I was like, oh, this is it.
Yep. So I guess hopefully we'll get a continuation and actual ending. But then outside of that, as you know, I already played Persona 5 Strikers and I played Apex Legends. And Avery, here's what happened.
Wait. Did you play with any of the group, or you did it solo?
But the only reason I even re-downloaded it was because the creator of Tavern Brawl hit me up. And he was like, when you get back into LA, do you have Apex Legends? And I was like, I don't anymore, but I guess it's still on my system somewhere. And I was just like, okay, I guess. Because he also wanted to talk to me about some show stuff. So we ran some Apex for like an hour. And, it's a game that feels sort of different now. Like, I just found out that there's a character that basically is Farah from Overwatch, and
Valkyrie? Yeah, it's Overwatch.
And it's
Overwatch. And here's the thing: if you put abilities in the game, it turns to Overwatch eventually.
Yes, but I say all that to say, Avery, I now have Apex back on my PlayStation.
Boy, I have a couple of saved games of my 2K damage Gibraltar. Like, when I go on, this is an Avery Williams tangent of Apex Legends, because I don't really get to talk about it so much, because DJ quote unquote flames me for talking about this game. But long story short,
flame? You can talk about it. It's okay.
No, I take long breaks from Apex when I hit my tilt wall, in which I don't feel myself getting better at the game. And I just feel myself regressing, and it just I wish Sean was here, because I can tell him about that one day we played Apex and we landed Frag East every game for 2.5 hours and just died off spawn every time. And that was me trying, and that was me tilt queuing. Because in Apex, Apex is two things. It's a die off spawn simulator, or a loot for 5 minutes and then die 10 minutes later because everyone else is already dead, and then you run into a team who's got red armors and everything like that. Those are the two experiences, unless you're cracked at the game. And that was me trying to fight off spawn every time to get better and better and better. And it's one of those things where I couldn't decide what role to play anymore, because as people who don't know, I used to play Watson. Watson became a garbage character, and then I started playing Wraith. And then I was starting to get better as Wraith, and then I realized that Gibraltar is broken, so I started playing Gibraltar. But the issue with playing Gibraltar is no one wants to play with the Gibraltar. He's the best legend in the game, but no one understands how fucking powerful his dome, his gun shield, his passive, and his ult is. So they always play, they always play off to the side, so I can't bubble and save them. It's a whole thing. I always play on comms. It's a whole thing. And so I vacillate between them. So I've settled into being, I'm playing Gibraltar. So if you need some bubbles thrown from your brother, let me know.
All right. Yeah, because, and I won't talk long about this because it's Apex Legends, but I still play with Lifeline because at this point I've settled into a support thing. I play more tank now on Overwatch than I used to, but Lucio's still my guy, and so I just inherently think support. But the first few games we played, we got washed. And then as time went on, we had some games where we were back to back to back in the top 10. And then the last game we played, we were in the top 3. So it was pretty fun,
I would my thing with Lifeline is that she's very much a character who hasn't been meta in years, and they don't know what to do with. She's great as a early on legend, but if you really want to play support and you really want to help out your team, I'd say play Loba.
I haven't unlocked any of these new characters.
Okay. When you get to Loba, play Loba.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's what
how
I'm
do you go
playing.
about unlocking the characters? Is it just like you get enough
You
coins to buy them?
every time your account levels up, you get legend tokens, which you can then redeem. I think 14K is for a new legend. I think you get 600 or so, or you can spend like $10 and just unlock the legend.
Yep.
Okay. Was Avery's audio choppy for anyone else other than me? Okay, it was fine.
I heard him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Avery, since you talk about Apex, what other games you been playing?
Okay, so to clarify this, the only reason my list of games was conceivably long is that we didn't record a traditional episode for about a month. And in that time, I usually spend the end of the year and the beginning of the year going through a combination of my backlog and then going through other people's games of the year list and playing those games to see if I have similar thoughts and things like that. So I played, and I will say that surprisingly, this has been my most productive 1 month of playing games all year, in which I think I fundamentally beat 8 to 10 games this year, like 8 to 10 games in the span of this month. So I had a lot. I had a lot on my plate. But first things first. In the spirit of Apex, I'm going to talk about Valorant. Episode 4 started this week, and we just got our next agent, Neon, and I sent in our group Slack. I sent to Sean her intro trailer because she's straight up an Apex Legends character. In that her primary ability is that she runs faster than any other character in Valorant. And if you understand how Valorant and tactical shooters work, being able to move like quickly is always a plus. And then she can slide, and she's the only character in the game that can slide. And so that's pretty sweet. I'm gonna keep my Valorant thoughts pretty short because I'm garbage at the game, and this is not the audience for me to talk about Valorant. But long story short, I really like Neon. I think she's really good. She's really good for ranked. I can't wait to see her play the competitive because I think she's broken, but not broken in a way that like I can't wait to see people react to this because she's a character who can play on A site, and then if people push B, she can be on B site faster than anyone could predict, and she could probably I've seen people flank with that character in a way. Another thing that's kind of broken for her, she doesn't make any sound when she's running, which I think is stupid. So like,
and she's fast.
Yeah. So like, if you're posted outside of like A site and like your 4-man like preparing for an exec, she could be behind you and you wouldn't know it, and she can just frag out your entire team, and you just, unless you were just expecting someone to be on your flank 5 seconds into the round. But yeah, she's fun. The Ares is dumb. They need to get rid of that gun. Next, I played Forgotten City. I played about 3 time loop games this year, and the Forgotten City is the best of the 3. It was on my top 5. It was on my top 10 games list of 2021. I think it was either 5 or 6. The only reason I picked Deathloop above it in terms of like time loop games is because I think from a production standpoint, Deathloop is a much better game than Forgotten City, but Forgotten City is super impressive. It's made by a team of like 4 guys. It's essentially like 4 guys made a mod in Skyrim, and then someone told them, hey, you could probably turn this into an actual game. So they took that mod, took out all the Skyrim parts, and then repurposed it into a game. And like, it's probably the most interesting 6 hours I played in a game. So the game begins, and you're just this random person. You get to pick your backstory. You meet this white woman named Karen, and she tells you her friend is missing, and like he was exploring this.
Does she ask for the manager?
Dude, that's a joke. I'm not going to talk more about Karen because like I have a lisp and I have a problem pronouncing words sometimes, and the pronunciation of her name is a big spoiler in regard to this game and its central conceits. So they acknowledge up front, hey, my name is Karen, and like, yeah, I don't like the name, and you, the character, could be like, oh, like the white woman, and she'd be like, yeah, sure, and we can move on from there. But there's actually something more deeper in regards to her name. Long story short, she tells you about her friend is missing in a temple. You go investigate the temple, and you find her friend's corpse, and he's been dead for like over 1,000 years, and you don't know why. And as you try and leave the temple, you get sucked into a time loop, and you find yourself in ancient Rome, in the city buried in a mountain, where like everyone everyone here has. You're trying to figure out how to escape and what's going on in the city. Because there's a thing called the golden rule that if you break the law, which is murder and theft, all the gold statues in the city come to life and murder everyone.
Yikes.
Oh.
And when you do that, the sort of the mayor of the town runs back to this temple and opens a portal and tells you go through the portal. And when you go through the portal, you warp back to the moment you came initially there. And so the game is you trying to figure out what's going on with the golden rule, all the trials and tribulations of the town. It's sort of it's very Majora's Mask in that like you can only really do one thing every loop conveniently because time moves forward every time you do it. But the thing does.
Yeah.
But one thing I really like about the game is that there's this one character at the beginning of the game who's just a super nice guy, and like if you show up and you tell him, "Hey man, we've had this conversation before. I need you to do X, Y, and Z," he's like, "I bet I'll do it." And he just goes around being like this town savior while you deal with other stuff. Long story short, the only thing I will say about this game's narrative and the big twist in regards to it is like if you play an Assassin's Creed, you know exactly where this game is going in regards to where its narrative goes. But like I really fucking enjoy it. I had a lot of fun playing it. And then with Elden Ring coming out, I decided that I'm going to. One thing I've been telling people over and over again that people aren't really hearing is that there's nothing about Elden Ring that is distinct from Dark Souls. Like everything I've seen about that game is just Dark Souls in a different environment.
What about the swords, Avery? What about the swords?
But George R.R. Martin, Avery.
Yes, and if they're going to tell the exact same, if they're going to tell the story the exact same way of Dark Souls, most people aren't going to get that story because they're not going to read every item in the game.
That's why we need
Absolutely
NFT voices.
But long story short, I've been replaying Dark Souls 1 and 2. I beat Dark Souls 1. I will reiterate the same thing I said when I beat Bloodborne ages ago, because this is my second time playing Dark Souls 1, is that these games are not hard. Like, if you play them like RPGs and don't act like an idiot, it's easy to get through them.
Right.
But also, yeah, I beat Dark Souls 1. Like, wasn't really a challenge. I've already played it before, but I played it again, so I beat it, and I was like, oh, I love this game. This game is fucking fantastic. I'm in the middle of Dark Souls 3 again. I'm not touching Dark Souls 2 a 10-foot pole, but that's just because I don't want to deal with that smoke.
What's wrong with that game?
It wasn't made by Miyazaki. It was made by a completely different team. So it has the trappings of Dark Souls 1, but it did a bunch of different things I just don't find as interesting as Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
And then my favorite pastime with Souls games is to do the prepare to try playthrough, which is I play the game and then I watch until the prepare to try, in which Rory Powers tries, which was an old IGN show about a person who's never played Dark Souls playing Dark Souls, and it's so funny to see how bad Rory Powers is at this game and how easy it was for me to get through most of it.
Okay, real quick, was Avery's audio good for everyone else?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, cool. It must be a me thing then.
Yeah, and so loving Dark Souls. Can't wait to get into Elden Ring and play and beat that game, and then hear the criticism from DJ of like, oh man, here are all the things in Souls games I don't like. They're in this game. I'm like, they've always been in there. Just fucking play Dark Souls. It's like $20. And the last thing
I plan on giving Elden Ring my time and energy.
Okay.
That's my promise to the craft.
And then the last game I was able to check out. This is the only game of the long list of games I played that I really haven't beaten. It's Chicory. I'm playing it on the recommendation of Janet Garcia from kind of
funny.
Well, yeah, kind of funny. I want to specifically give her the PS I Love You XOXO shout out. But yeah, this game is delightful. It's twee as fuck. So like, if you look at the game's art style and say this game is not for you, it's not for you. But in terms of like experience, it's actually really interesting, really fun, and I totally understand why she put it on one of her top 10 games. It was caping for it really hard. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I played a lot more, but I don't think we have the time or energy to talk through them.
All right. That has been what we have been playing, but before we jump into the quick hits, and before we do our ad sponsor thingy that we do, we have a little special segment. We have a message from a listener. So this comes from George.
ever.
Really though, yeah. So this comes from George, aka Fake Helium. I love that name. That's dope. He says, "Hi, loving the podcast recently. I was wondering if you guys could talk about any games like Terraria or Hollow Knight. They are both games which I think could make it to the Hall of Games, especially Hollow Knight, seeing as it was only made by 2 people. So, thanks for writing in, George. I out of these 2 games, I have Hollow Knight free on my PS Plus. I'm actually going to download it. I've been wanting to try the game out, but I just haven't really had the time to just do it.
Sean's
But
played a whole bunch of it though.
yeah. And Terraria, actually, me and Shireen played a lot of Terraria, I think a few years back. But we played it on our iPads, I believe. But yeah, we absolutely love Terraria. So here's the thing that we could do. If you have Hollow Knight available free on your PlayStation, I'm talking to us, the cast. I think Avery already mentioned his thoughts on Hollow Knight because he's aware of it. Try it out. I plan on trying it out, and next week I will give my impressions on the game, and you guys can do the same.
Our first listener game suggestion.
Oh, it is on Game Pass. All right, I'm buying it right now. Very good.
There you go. Jordan's like, say no more. All right, cool. So yeah, thanks again, George.
Thanks, George.
Any of you listeners or viewers want to write in, maybe suggest a game to us, do what George did. Just write us at our email, which is at pressx2start. So T as in TO. Pressx2start podcast@gmail.com. Thanks again.